What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this drib drab review of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 2, season 3. If it wasn't for Jen and her criminal activities, I don't know what kind of season we would have had with these women, because it was like Jen got indicted and arrested, and she's going through this criminal case. So the rest of us are just going to sit down on easy street and not really do much of anything. Because if it wasn't for Jen, what else would have been going on this season other than the she said nonsense that Whitney tried to bring to the table that nobody really cared about. Let's get started. Heather, she's not interested in finding out what happened to her eye because she had been drinking, and she's got this whole Mormon guilt of drinking excessively. So because of the fact that she's been drinking a lot, she's not interested in finding out what happened to her damn eye. Pathetic. I've said all I could say about Heather's damn black eye. If you don't care enough to find out, then why'd you bring it up? Why couldn't you just have lied and said, I bumped into something or whatever? Why couldn't you just have lied and we would have been done with it? But you acting all mysterious about it, and then just to end up with, I'm not even going to say what happened. Heather, you should be fired. Then they go into Whitney's childhood trauma. The reason why I wasn't completely moved by Whitney's childhood trauma is because she couldn't remember what the hell happened. She didn't remember what happened. She talked about how for like a good chunk of her childhood, she had blocked out all these memories. So she doesn't even know what happened. So I don't know how I'm supposed to react on someone being abused or traumatized as a child when they don't even know what happened to them. I didn't understand how the viewer was supposed to relate to that. So the fact that she was getting a lot of, I don't know what people were saying exactly. I don't know if they were doubting her story. I'm not here to say that something did or did not happen to her. All I'm here to say is that if she was trying to move us emotionally, it didn't work on me because she didn't know what happened. And then if she remembered later what happened, I didn't hear about it. Did she reveal it on the show what happened to her? I don't remember her talking about like, oh, I remember now this, and that happened to me. I don't remember that. So if she can't tell us what happened, then I cannot be moved. I can't go by this blanket statement of something happened to me. I don't know what it was, so feel sorry for me. I can't do that. But she says she got a lot of criticism from the women on the show and from viewers. Heather was upset about the things. Okay, so this whole thing about Heather's blind loyalty to Jen and how Whitney and Lisa were trying to open up Heather's eyes to see that Jen is not who you think she was. Jen was not the friend that you thought you had. I guess slowly Heather came to the realization that she was fiercely loyal to someone who could have given, two damns about her. And so she's like, okay, fine. Jen was not the greatest friend and I should not have blindly supported her and given all my loyalty to her. And then Whitney and Lisa were trying to tell Heather, it's not about your loyalty to Jen. It's the fact that you were so loyal to Jen at the expense of your friendship with Whitney. You showed no loyalty to Whitney whatsoever, and she's been your ride or die since day one. And you gave all your loyalty to someone who was talking bad about you behind your back and didn't care about the fact that you supported her. You so fiercely supported her. Jen didn't give a damn about that. So it was just a wrong move for Heather. It was the absolute wrong move for Heather. And then the future of Heather and Whitney's friendship is supposedly unknown. Nobody really knows what's going to be happening with that. The husbands come out. It seems like to me, John, Lisa's husband, is very hurt. Like he doesn't understand how this reality TV show game works. John, it seems like, took everything to heart about what Meredith had said about Lisa. It really affected him. And my whole thing is what Lisa said about Meredith in her little hot mic rant last season was no better than what Meredith had said about Lisa doing whatever for jazz tickets and Vita placement. And it's like, John, do you not remember the things that your wife said about Meredith? So, like, everything is a wash. Meredith talked a lot. I mean, Lisa talked a lot about Meredith. Meredith talked a lot about. It's the whole thing is a wash now. So, John, fix your face. It's gonna be okay. This is what these women do on these shows. They talk a lot of crap about each other. Nobody cares about the truth. Okay, this is just how it is. Seth and Justin, is it Justin or Jason? They take it all in stride. They understand, we're just here for the money. Okay, our wives are doing this show for the money. We're not taking nothing personally. We're not taking anything seriously. We're just doing it for the money. John, you need to get on board. Then the husbands leave. Meredith, they talked about her flip-flopping on Jen. When Jen first got arrested, Meredith was like, acted very much like she deserves it, and this woman stole from me, she's a thief, and I saw this coming, why didn't y'all? Like, she just expected Jen to be arrested for something. Like, she was just waiting for the day that Jen got exposed as a fraudster, scammer, criminal. And now Meredith is all like on Jen's side, feeling really sorry for Jen, trying to be there for Jen. So they're like, what's up? Why did you flip flop? And Meredith said that when a very reliable source told her that Jen was trying to self-harm, that's when it changed for her. But then they still kind of caught her in a lie, because they were still kind of like, I don't even know. It doesn't even matter. So she flip-flopped. Andy Cohen asked her, you did say that you couldn't be friends with her if she was found guilty. Okay, so she pled guilty. Now, why are you still friends with her? And Meredith really can't explain. They said to her, you found out, or you knew about how all the things that she did to the victims, and so you want to support her. And Meredith she couldn't answer that question. It was hard for her to answer, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're going to call Jen out for being a criminal and act like you saw this coming from a mile away and accuse her of stealing from your store, then why all of a sudden are you like coddling her and supporting her, and you're there to rub her back and try to make things better for her? Like, why would you flip now? If anything, you should have been more supportive before the evidence came out, before she pled guilty, before everybody knew exactly what went down. And then once you found out, it would make sense that you would try to distance yourself from her now. But she distanced from herself before the facts came out, tried to ostracize Jen before the facts came out. But now, when it's been clearly shown what Jen was doing and how she was stealing from these old folks, all of a sudden now you want to be her friend. They talked about Jen pleading guilty. Was it to protect Coach? And the consensus seemed to be that most likely yes. It was for two reasons that she pled guilty. It was getting too costly to defend herself. Someone had said, I don't know who it was, but someone had said that just for her to get transcripts, it was $2,000 per transcript or something ridiculous like that. So it was just getting too costly, to continue to pay these lawyers to defend her on a case where the government would win. Like, they had like a 95% success rate. It just wasn't making any sense. Especially, Jen, when you knew what you did was wrong. Why would you throw your money away like that? So they talked about her pleading guilty. Was it to protect Coach? Yes, because if she had gone to trial, maybe information would have come out that Coach was aware and he was complicit with the things that she was doing. And so I guess to leave one parent in the home with the kids, or whatever the situation was, it wouldn't have been fair. I guess in her mind, maybe Jen thought it would not have been fair for me to bring my husband down with me, even though he might have been complicit, even though he might have helped her in some capacity. She was the main culprit. So why drag her husband into it when she was the one that was doing most of the dirty work, and she was the one that started all of it? I mean, Coach must have known. He had to have known. He had to have known. And he either was like, okay, girl, go ahead. We're making money. We're making bank over here. Keep on doing what you're doing. Or he was like, you know what? I know you're doing something that you ain't supposed to be doing, but I don't want to know about it. I just want to live this lifestyle, take advantage of this money, but I don't want to know exactly what you're doing. Either way, it was wrong. It was wrong. So Whitney was like, well, Coach was always on. I guess she was talking about how he was always so charming and he was always so funny, how he was just so likable, that she says that all of that he was presenting was fake to her in her mind. Like, he was being fake. So she feels like, yeah, Coach must have known. He must have been complicit in some way because he was putting on this show of being, the likable one. And it was all for what? Maybe to fool everybody. They talked about how Angie H had given money to Jen to help with the legal expenses because it seems like the Shaw family was drowning, and which is funny that they would give. I mean, I guess it was just that guilt of the Shaw exposed account. Maybe that guilt is what drove them to give money to her, because I was like, Angie H and Chris gave money to Jen for her legal fees after they used her name on the Shaw exposed website. That didn't make any sense to me, unless it just felt so guilty and they wanted to show how much they were willing to make it up to them. And so then they decided to, contribute to their legal fund. And one more thing, that Jen Shaw, I don't think Jen Shaw has the capability of truly being a friend to anyone. Her only loyalty is to herself and her family. I don't think that she is like a girl's girl, someone that other women can really put their trust in. I don't think Jen Shaw is capable of that. I mean, she's going to be gone for 6 years, so it really doesn't matter. But she's definitely not like a girl's girl. The biggest regret. So Andy Cohen asks each of them, what was your biggest regret of the season? All of them said something that kind of made sense. Heather said that her biggest regret was, what she said was drinking too much. Is that what she said? Her biggest regret was, I think she said that she should have just gone home and went to bed. After the Marilyn Monroe dinner. She's like, I should have just gone home and went to bed. Meredith said that her biggest regret was she should have been more careful with what she said. Basically, she regretted spreading those rumors about Lisa. Whitney said that her biggest regret, I forgot what she said. Her biggest regret was, I can't remember what she said. But what I wanted to talk about was Lisa. Lisa says her biggest regret was that she should have had more boundaries with Jen. That wasn't really so much about her. That was saying a lot about Jen. So once again, Lisa proves that she can never take accountability for anything that she's done. Even with the hot mic moment, she can't deny it because we all heard it. But if it wasn't actually heard on the show, she would have denied saying all those things that she said on that hot mic. But because she was caught saying it, she couldn't deny it, but she justified it. And I understand, because she says, I don't have any regrets. Everything is a lesson. Okay, so what was the biggest lesson that you learned that had to do with you and your own self-growth and your own self-awareness? Saying that you needed more boundaries with Jen just talks about how shady Jen was, and you had to distance yourself from her. And another thing that I wanted to say, all of these women, all of them, Heather, Lisa, Meredith, Whitney, all of them. I think that as soon as Jen Shaw was arrested, before it came out that she was actually guilty of these things, they had already convicted her in their mind. The fact that these women want to act like, oh, we believed in her innocence. We thought she was innocent. We believed her when she said she wasn't guilty. No, y'all didn't. No, y'all didn't. From day one, as soon as those feds were looking for her on that Sprinter van, y'all believed they had already convicted this woman in her head. And I think that when it came to being like feeling sorry for her and trying to support her, I think they just wanted to be close to the drama. They wanted to be close to Jen to get all the tea from Jen, because if they acted as if they were a true confidant to her, that Jen might reveal information to them that they could probably use against her later. But I don't think any of these women really saw Jen as a friend, rightfully so, because I don't think Jen can be a true friend to anyone. But the whole thing about them believing in her innocence, they never once did. None of them. None of them. I think Meredith was at her most authentic self in the beginning when Jen was first arrested, and Meredith was talking all that crap about Jen, about how she was a thief and she stole some green clutch from her store, how she saw this coming. It was just a matter of time. That was Meredith in her most authentic self when it came to how she viewed Jen. The Meredith that we got in this season, season 3, where she's all sympathetic with Jen, she was only sympathetic with Jen because she didn't get along with anybody. She didn't get along with Lisa, didn't get along with Whitney, barely got along with Heather. So yeah, of course she's going to be sympathetic with Jen. And Heather, Heather is the kind of person where I don't know. I think that Heather, y'all, I really think that Heather relished in in what Jen went through. To her, I think to Heather, it was like, oh my God, one of my castmates is being arrested and indicted. This is so juicy. I think she wanted to be close to the drama. And Whitney couldn't even fake wanting to support Jen because Jen doesn't see her for Whitney, period. And then Lisa not once gave a damn about, and I'm not saying that they should. I am not saying that they should. I'm just calling out their fakeness and acting as if they were Jen's friend. Lisa, as soon as the feds were looking for Jen on the Sprinter van on their way to Vail, she called her attorneys and was like, I need to make sure that I'm good, that I'm not going to be dragged into Jen's mess. That was the first thing she did. Lisa didn't see it for Jen at all, point blank, period. None of these women did. Jen had no friend in any of these women, but Jen herself cannot be a friend to anybody. And she pled guilty. She did it. And she got what she deserved. That's my review. Thank you so much. I have no idea what's going to happen with the future of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because, but for Jen, this ain't it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.